In 1971, a psychology experiment at Stanford University spiraled into something dark and unexpected. What you think you know is only part of the story. Professor Philip Zimbardo wanted to study how ordinary people adapt to power dynamics. He created a simulated prison in Stanford's basement. 24 healthy male students were randomly assigned as guards or prisoners. They were told it would last 2 weeks. The prisoners were arrested at their homes by real police, handcuffed, and brought to the simulated prison blindfolded. Upon arrival, prisoners were stripped, deloused, and given numbered smocks. Their identities were systematically erased. The guards received no specific training, just basic instructions to maintain order. They wore mirrored sunglasses and uniforms. Within hours, the guards began asserting control. What started as mild resistance escalated quickly into psychological warfare. Prisoners were forced to do push-ups as punishment. Guards stepped on their backs, adding physical humiliation to psychological control. The published accounts describe guards becoming increasingly cruel, but unpublished notes reveal even darker behaviors that were omitted. Unpublished records show guards inventing sexual humiliations that were never included in official reports. The experiment crossed lines Zimbardo didn't document. Prisoner 8612 experienced a complete psychological breakdown after just 36 hours. His distress was more severe than publicly acknowledged. Zimbardo's own notes reveal he was struggling with his dual role as researcher and prison superintendent. His objectivity was compromised. The most shocking unpublished detail: guards reportedly threatened prisoners with actual violence beyond the psychological abuse described in papers. Food deprivation was more extreme than reported. Some prisoners went without meals for disciplinary reasons that violated the protocol. The experiment was supposed to last 2 weeks. It was terminated after just 6 days. But why exactly? The full reasons were nuanced. A graduate student named Christina Maslach visited the prison. Her horrified reaction forced Zimbardo to confront what he had created. Maslach told Zimbardo, "You're not the person I thought you were." This personal confrontation ended the experiment more than data did. Unpublished interviews reveal guards later experienced guilt and confusion about their behavior. Some struggled with what they had become. Prisoners reported lasting psychological effects that weren't fully tracked in follow-up studies. The experiment's impact extended beyond the basement. Zimbardo's published work emphasized situational power, but unpublished materials show individual personality differences mattered more than he admitted. Some guards resisted the cruelty. These good guards were overlooked in the published narrative that emphasized conformity to roles. The experiment's methodology has been heavily criticized. Participants reported they were acting how they thought researchers wanted. Demand characteristics, where subjects try to fulfill researcher expectations, may explain much of the behavior observed in Stanford's basement. Unpublished audio recordings reveal Zimbardo actively encouraging guards to be tougher. He wasn't just observing, he was directing. The Stanford Prison Experiment became legendary in psychology textbooks, but the simplified version erases crucial complexities and ethical questions. Recent investigations found discrepancies between the published timeline and what actually occurred. Some events were rearranged for dramatic effect. The experiment's legacy is complicated. It revealed dark human potentials, but also demonstrated how research itself can become unethical. Modern ethics boards would never approve such a study today. Stanford's basement marked a turning point in research protections. The unpublished materials matter because they show how scientific narratives get shaped. What gets omitted can be as important as what's included. Zimbardo later became an advocate for ethical research and heroism studies. His journey reflects grappling with his own experiment's legacy. The experiment teaches us about institutional power, but also about storytelling in science. Which details get highlighted shapes our understanding. When we hear about famous studies, we should ask, what might be missing? Whose perspectives weren't recorded? What context was lost? The Stanford Prison Experiment's true lesson may be about transparency. The full story, with all its uncomfortable details, matters most. It reminds us that human behavior is complex. Simple explanations often hide more than they reveal about power, ethics, and ourselves. The unpublished story of Stanford's prison teaches us to look deeper, question narratives, and remember that truth is often in the omitted details.